Man, what a scene. That chills.
You know what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
To really make sure.
I thought that was fucking. I thought that was Glenn Powell. This video is sponsored by RULA. More on them just a bit. Rejects Journal. 16 years ago, a boy stood in line at AMC Universal, cramming in the Watchmen comic, not understanding the themes, the depth, thinking it was going to be some cool superhero shit, and thought maybe the movie will be different. Sure enough, he didn't get it. 16 years later, slightly smarter, not much, he crammed in the comic again, thinking he had enough time, lost sleep, to do a first-time watch for the director's cut of Watchmen. Coy, I think I get it now.
It's a really good comic as an adult, but it's a very not comprehensible comic as any, like, it's so not available to pre-adolescent minds.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not an approachable comic book.
That's all true. I read it when I was 18 years old.
Not the time.
I saw the trailer for it, of course, first, so I thought it was going to be some, like, crazy superhero action movie.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't get it. And even though I read the whole thing, and then I only saw the movie one time. So I've never rewatched the film.
You've only seen it once?
This is literally my first time rewatching it. And also, it's the director's cut, so I'm going to call it a first-time watch for the director's cut.
I've never seen the director's. So we're both first-time director's cut, but I've seen the original film like 5 or 6 times. I love the original.
Have you seen? But you've never seen the director's?
No, and I haven't seen it in like 10 years.
All right, cool.
So it's been 10 years since any cut, never director.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I really enjoyed reading the comic, though.
I reread it about a year ago.
Okay.
And I'm a huge fan, and it's actually, I want to talk to you about probably throughout the film. I think it's so ironic that what you're describing about not quite getting it is such a litmus test for Rorschach, which is ironic because the Rorschach test is a human psychology.
Yeah.
People not getting Rorschach is so ironically because it's a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
Alan Moore's got a whole thing about how, like, he didn't write him to be the good guy, and then people are like, he's pretty badass, though. We're going to talk about that a lot during, but I think it's really interesting. People think Rorschach is, like, the good.
No.
Like, yeah, he's a piece of shit.
The whole point of the comic, as at least what I was getting, is that there's no real heroes here.
One of the reasons Alan Moore wanted to get out of comics was the amount of people that came up and said, man, I really love Rorschach. And he was like, I failed. And so I think it's really interesting to watch the film and to see how that goes along because the wrong people are reading it.
No.
Alan Moore has said he's done because of people like he's like
hilarious.
These unsocialized people identifying as the exact problem.
I'm excited to watch this, though. I'm excited, especially now that I have the comic a little fresh in my brain. I read it on, I'm doing a lot of cardio in the past few days, and I read it on the treadmill. So I had the Interstellar music going. So by the time you get to like the Dr. Manhattan on Mars scenes, it's pretty freaking sweet, honestly, when you're like hearing the Interstellar music. But it was like a bit of like a cram-in situation. But I'm excited to do this, man. Off to the new frontiersman. Let's go.
I thought it was an hour shorter. I thought Alex scheduled I was like, that's a lot of extra time.
1:30 to 5 p.m.
Wow. No, I thought it was like a misnumb. I had no idea. I didn't know the Snyder cut.
That the Soviet Union's aggression at the Afghan border will not be opposed publicly.
It's crazy reading the comic because I cannot imagine anybody else playing the comedian.
No,
It's too
so perfect.
Too perfect of casting.
The first frame of him, I'm like, yeah.
Test today in the Bering Sea, just 1,500 miles off the southern coast of Alaska.
Oh, that's cool. You got Lori back.
Setting her up for right away, yeah.
Well, no, not Lori, but her mom.
Silk Spectre 1.
Yeah.
Let it be clear, we maintain our strength.
Oh, they show you Nixon right at the top
in order
here.
to maintain peace.
I don't remember this, but it's been a while.
Do the consequences of attacking America outweigh the potential benefits?
As a result of the Soviet activity.
So they really lean into the Cold War fears right at the top.
Yeah, which establishes the tone that Alan Moore wanted. It makes sense.
By nuclear war.
Yeah, 18-year-old Greg didn't even understand like history back then. So
Did you not know about the Doomsday Clock, Greg? Were you not paying attention to Cold War fears?
Didn't know anything. I really didn't know about that.
The Soviets would never risk going to war.
That's a real journalist, right?
Yeah, Pat Buchanan's a real guy.
But does Dr. Manhattan's existence guarantee world peace?
Well, it hasn't stopped the Soviet Union from stockpiling.
In some ways,
It's John during a live stream.
Yeah. In some ways, Alan Moore and Frank Miller are cut from the same cloth.
We talk about both of them so much with media, and it's really interesting to watch a film open with media, not sprinkled. It's the precedent.
World feels like that.
Production design's immaculate. I just want to give Snyder his flowers. He built this so well.
Unforgettable.
That's what you are.
Pretty cool to actually go in on comedian's perspective at the top, because you don't. It starts in the comic. It starts off with the death of him, but they're them going to a crime scene.
Yeah, but I think you really need to wonder about him to be engaged with his death. And it's not long, but
Just some action.
Time, I suppose.
I still think this is Snyder's best film. This and 300 for me.
300.
Yeah, they have good timing. God. Perfect slow-mo use.
That is how I imagine Adrian would fight. Like, just so
Tactical,
calculated
yeah.
and being able to anticipate his every move. Yeah.
Not a single wasted punch.
I remember those in the 2000s. You punch the wall thing. That's such a classic.
Giant haymaker slow-mo. It's so much more stylized than even the BVS stuff, because it grabs the frame from the comic and then Zack Snyder takes it between the frames.
I think the thing he's really doing is that he's really amplifying the action. The action.
It's so heady.
It's not really an action comic.
No.
Like, it's violent, but I wouldn't call it. These are like action scenes with choreography and shit, you know?
But cinematically,
Yeah.
I think you need this between the story.
Yeah. It's good
Especially in a
choreography,
3.5 hour
man.
movie.
It's a joke. It's all a joke.
Cool way to establish the comedian right away without even knowing who the comedian is. It's all a joke.
And to give us the iconic image in real time. I can't imagine the storyboards connecting the frames to make sure you get each of those iconic moments. So beautiful.
This is when darkening the panels works really well.
Yeah, you can hide so much more and you can really enhance the comic-iness.
Yeah, because this is all brighter in the comic.
But it's such a different medium. You can draw the hell out of something versus try to film a person. Dave Gibbons' art in general is really interesting color use. Like it's got a sterileness that I think works for how cold the comic is, but it's still bright and comic-y.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible
That's right,
opening
they included
sequence.
this. Including
He'd
Batman
go on-
here
he'd go
at
on to
Gotham
direct
Opera
Batman.
House.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, because like the characters are meant to be commentaries on DC comic characters.
Yeah, and they
So it's
exist in a
so-
world where the DC comics exist.
Well, DC bought the company that made Watchmen.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how they fold into each other. And now Peacemaker's more popular than the comedian. And like the comedian was a commentary on Peacemaker. And now people know him. It's fascinating to me. But before James Gunn did Peacemaker, I don't think anyone knew that character to this scale.
Wow, they really brought the costumes to life.
It's also great having watched the HBO show to see like Hangman and certain characters that got their time. Because Hangman's a huge character in the show.
Wasn't Hooded Justice?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hangman is Glenn Powell in Top Gun.
Lesbians.
My God. Recreating comic iconography, real world iconography.
This is a really cool way to allude to the history of the Minutemen, the original heroes. Because you can't, the comic has all those like side excerpts of like from the novel, the newspapers
Yeah.
and stuff, but you can't really dive into all that. But this is it alludes to it, at least in a really nice way. And this is a perfect song choice too. Times they are changing. Yeah.
It really builds a whole world. And there's so much shades of like Alex Ross to me, like with this classic imagery.
And they're showing like these guys are not normal.
Right. And the world is accordingly not normal.
Yeah.
Stand, your sons and your daughters are beyond your command.
That's what happens to lesbians in this world, Greg. That's what happens.
Yeah, I was surprised about the commentary on homophobia in the comic too.
Very different time with that culture.
Changing.
Was that Baby Rorschach?
Yeah.
God, those effects are phenomenal.
Yeah.
On, Dr. Manhattan. I didn't
He
even
looks
notice.
so good.
This is crazy how good that looks.
The glow in the hand and the handshake.
So smart with the introduction to be an American hero.
And to recreate this, to really put the political charge in this whole story, this and Nixon.
Senators, congressmen, please heed the call.
It was because of this opening why people thought Joss Whedon's Justice League opening was dumb from Zack Snyder.
Oh, it's funny because I think of the Wolverine movie where they use the whole live Schreiber in X-Men Origins.
Who watches The Watchmen? Same time, it made people fans and read the comic.
And I do think this definitely put people on the comic more than the average. It's so interesting watching it 10 years later and a different cut because I'm wondering what I remember and what's new, like trying to piece together.
Oh, you have that perspective too, because I really don't remember the movie. Like you said, the third act's different. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't remember the end of the movie at all?
I don't remember what you're talking about.
That's gotta be fun, dude. That's hilarious.
Guy his age, he was in terrific shape.
You mean apart from being dead?
Yeah, this is where the comic actually starts.
But I think establishing the hustler and all those, it's like 2 minutes, but I think it really helps.
Shaking hands with the president.
Whoa. Think Blake was a spook? Government?
And they still don't even know who he is.
Rorschach's Journal, October 12th, 1985.
I remember just hearing that all the time.
Rorschach's Journal.
People, I mean, the movie even made people love him. Like, I think it's really interesting, the people that identify with Rorschach.
Cool in this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. And when the drains finally scab over, all the vermin will drown.
Well, he's the closest to like a cracked Batman in some ways. He's kind of like Darren Aronofsky's Batman.
Yeah. Which would not have been the good guy or a good guy.
Yeah.
Save us. Now the whole world stands on the brink, staring down into bloody hell. All those liberals and smooth talkers. And all of a sudden, nobody can think of anything to say.
Man, his dialogue's incredible. Alan Moore.
I don't think woke Hollywood would uplift this guy.
MAGA Rorschach over here.
He's like a hardcore conservative vigilante.
Well, I mean, he's like an antisocial, like alt-right madman. And like that was the thing that people were like, he's the coolest character. And then Alan Moore was like, what have I done? They did the costumes so well.
The warping of the face is brilliant.
It still looks great. But even the jacket and the pants, it feels like the comic. I can't get over how meta it is that how you think of Rorschach is such a Rorschach test to who you are. It's so fascinating that that's how the character landed.
Well, there's a gray to it. Like
there is.
He's someone who really does uphold. At the end of the day, when he finds the truth, he's going to stand by it no matter what.
But Alan Moore writing him as this negative, and then the way it lands through the film, making him so cool and all the things. He also effectively frames like Rorschach as the lead in many scenes, which would be the Batman of the story.
How did he miss?
Yeah, he was right there. Rorschach's not bulletproof.
Few of us cops, we get together and we figure, what the heck? We'll mask up too. We'll finish what the law couldn't.
Oh, this is Hollis.
Dollar Bill, Mothman, Captain Metropolis, Hooded Justice, Silk Spectre, and the Comedian.
Patrick Wilson is so good, man.
It wasn't fair what happened to you guys. You guys who picked up where we left off. With Nixon forcing you out. Nixon, oh, that prick.
It's so interesting tying in comic ideas to actual politicians. Like actual era, how they would have handled this. It's such a unique mindset.
I'm so impressed by how accurate of an adaptation this is.
Like even the casting of this guy.
Without it feeling off, though. Or like, this is not the right medium to do this.
I mean, I think Woman of Tomorrow is the first time since this we've adapted a comic directly. Like, usually comic movies are adapting a character. This is the comic.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen.
Well, I think Sin City pioneered that.
That's a fair comparison.
You got a hot date or something? Hey, us retired guys have to stick together, right? You ever miss it?
Damn, Patrick Wilson is perfect casting for him. Oh, my God.
I remember this and Hard Candy, and I was like, this guy can act. Those are such different roles. And then when he was Ocean Master and someone made those lines work, I was like, man, this guy. I love all the signage and propaganda and ads and the way it feels in the comic as like a broken system, and the way they use it here is perfect.
Notice with the art style in the comic, when you cut to the characters, you actually get different types of color palette. And I think it was smart of Snyder to work with his DP on unifying the colors more. That way,
It would be very jarring in a movie.
Yeah.
The costume toning down in certain things. Even how Patrick Wilson walks is perfect. Like the squaring off like a drawing.
Well, there's so much body language to the characters in the drawings that the actors have so much to work with.
I think Malin Ackerman does a good job at that as well.
Is this bean juice?
Human bean juice. Badge belonged to the comedian. He's dead.
Let's talk downstairs.
Even though you can't see Rorschach's face, these two do have good chemistry.
Yeah.
And their friendship is a big heart.
That what they say about me now? Paranoid.
Look, comedian made a lot of enemies over the years, even among his friends.
Speaking of friends, how's Hollis Mason?
Just because he's cool doesn't mean he's necessarily the hero. He's really cool. I think he is cool.
He's cool.
Yeah.
But he's not inspirational or aspirational. There's an interesting thing.
Be seeing you, Dan.
There's a maintenance hatch. I had to let you out 2 blocks north.
Yeah, I remember. Came there often when we were partners.
Those were great times, huh, Rorschach? What happened?
You quit.
What a solid handling of meshing genres. They even get that buddy cop like lyric of the former
buddy cop
detectives.
comic. Yeah.
It's really hard to. That's probably one of the harder parts of adapting it, because when people talk about adapting this, they often reference like the structure, the length, but it's like the different genres and tones you got to unify some way.
It's got so many leads, and you need to get them all right.
It's complex. It's really complex.
Why does one death matter against so many? Because there is good and evil must be punished, even in the face of Armageddon.
Damn, look at these whores.
I love how just normal it looks for Rorschach to be walking around these streets. And it's so interesting how even the Watchmen show, decades later, like prophesized like the masked cops of today. Like ICE was in Watchmen, and this sets that up.
What are we looking at?
The ship stuff, the pirate stuff.
The Black Freighter's in this?
Yeah, dude.
They put the Black Freighter in the director's cut?
The whole thing. I think, yeah.
Really?
I think we get all of it.
Oh, my God.
Because I think they teased it in the regular cut, but I don't remember. But yeah.
I thought they would keep this separate. Did Snyder direct this?
I don't know. I've never seen it. Like, it looks like Snyder's like framing.
It's pulling me under. Hold on.
That's bold of them to do this.
And to just cut to it.
Yeah, instead of going to the people reading the comic, the guy reading the comic.
Yeah, I remember that later in the movie.
Delirious from nearly drowning. I saw it. The Black Freighter. The hellbound ship's black sails against the yellow Indy sky.
Really? This animation is like hyper polished.
The waves about me were scarlet, foaming, horribly warm in the freighter's wake. In despair, I offered my weathered soul.
I think it is.
And his judgment.
What do you think, kid?
Oh, damn.
Hell yeah.
None of this is in the theatrical. I know that for sure.
I love that cut.
I mean, I ain't trying to be an asshole or anything, but they're the ones who are agitating us. Now, that's just my opinion.
Oh, he's right there.
Yeah. I love that the DC bullet is back. It's my favorite symbol.
I'd appreciate if you didn't stand around waiting, because I don't know when it's going to be here.
I thought you said you wasn't foreign.
Are you going to buy that?
Nah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and in this version, because you show the little boy in the opening, if you pay enough attention, you could definitely see how much they look alike.
Yeah.
I understand there's even a movie in the works.
I'm not hearing a question, Mr. Roth.
I'm sorry? Do you think?
The other Watchmen is...
Ah, smart. Because in the comic, he's crafting a movie to create the monster.
So we need this being filmed for that, yeah.
Biased journalism sells more magazines.
What Matthew Good's doing now? He's great.
But if we make resources infinite, we make war obsolete. I would hope the other Watchmen
What a dark
that,
but idealistic idea.
wherever they may be.
Well, they placed it smartly for the Black Freighter because the Black Freighter is in a lot of ways the foreshadowing of what his journey is in the comic. And like the way it parallels towards the end when they're cutting back and forth.
By the end, yeah.
So I think they show the Black Freighter that up front early before you go to Ozymandias' first scene is good structuring.
I imagine it's close to the comic structure.
Rorschach's a sociopath, Dan. When so was the comedian. He was practically a Nazi. You know that better than anyone.
I'm not here because I miss him.
But it's obviously occurred to Rorschach that we're the only ones who know each other's identities.
Oh, I love the adaptation of him. He's just so like pristine and he views himself like a godly man.
The music underneath it. Oh.
And there is something like, like Greek about him.
Ivory tower he's in.
I actually really like who they cast and how they change his hair and shit. Yeah, that looks really good.
The score's doing a lot of lifting in that tone shifts you were talking about.
The 1% to get through still kill every living thing on Earth. Even Dr. Manhattan can't be everywhere at once.
You underestimate what Dr. Manhattan can do.
8:30 p.m. Meeting with Dryberg left bad taste in mouth. A flabby failure who sits whimpering in his basement.
Terrible guards.
Dollar Bill got his cape stuck in a revolving door where he got gunned down. Silhouette. Murdered.
Even though I don't know how you can truly. I would love to hear from people who didn't read the comic because it's like I'm loving how they did this as an adaptation because I'm like, oh, it is great, but
it's 1-to-1.
Is it accessible if you haven't?
Right? Maybe that's why it didn't do well or as well as we wanted it to.
Like I feel like you have to rewatch it to appreciate it.
Yeah,
especially all the things he's saying here in this monologue of the different heroes and stuff.
And it's such a world. It's so dense.
But you're going to leave disappointed.
It still looks amazing.
What are you doing here?
The comedian is dead. Rorschach wants me to look into my future, see if the killer is ever publicly identified.
Already warned Driver.
Oh, that's right. I'm so glad they kept the penis.
Oh yeah, there's lots of penis.
My future is blocked by some kind of temporal interference. I cannot see it clearly.
Caused by what?
In all likelihood, nuclear holocaust.
It's cool because he does look like Billy Crudup.
Yeah, the face and then the body's just pure God.
But does look like Dr. Manhattan from the comics simultaneously.
Goodbye, Rorschach.
Took a lot of effort to get in here to see you. I'm not leaving until I've had my say.
I didn't quite pick up on that. It's like for me, this is kind of like a reread because, yeah, that's a good mirroring for the fact that in the end he will kill him.
Yeah, that's how it all ends. Yeah,
like in his first meeting too. Yeah.
Why don't you call your friend Eddie? Maybe he can give you a better life.
It was a mistake. One time.
That tries to.
Oh wow! They give that reveal up
very early compared to
very early. Yeah, damn.
I think it helps establish the hate she has, but
yeah, but like that completely alludes that he's the father.
Yeah,
yeah.
So you call Dan, which is only natural. You deserve the comfort of an old friend.
I don't know how they made this when they did. He looks amazing.
Billy Crudup's delivery is perfect. Captures that sadness.
And logic and precision. It's like how Veidt fights.
And yet the lack of empathy.
Yeah, why would he have it? Yeah. The inhuman humanness is so great.
It's really good to see you again.
It's great seeing you too.
But do you remember my costume? All that tight latex? I mean, it was awful.
Yeah. Awful.
I think the Keen Act was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Soviet
We'll live longer anyway.
Yeah.
John thinks there's going to be nuclear war soon. I don't know what to think. I mean, it's
good editing choices because they had like a wider shot on them than the extreme close-up to amplify the emotional.
And we get rid of the streaks and now we're with them.
I can't even tell if he actually cares about me anymore, if he's just pretending.
If he's pretending, it means he cares.
Oh, you're a good guy, man.
Hold on, keep the door.
Patrick Wilson casting. So perfect.
Really captured that well with having her scene with Dr. Manhattan and then to cut to a starkly different thing.
The warmth of Dan.
She's with the ultimate genius, like muscle, like everything a man aspires to fucking be.
Yeah, but this like soft, gentle.
Yeah, he's like fixing his glasses, a little overweight. Yeah.
And the music dichotomy to make you like really see it.
Yeah. That it's about the soul. Because that's the weird part about the comic. There's a hope in human connection.
And without their chemistry, the comic's even colder. Like, you really need to love them. This definitely reminds me of BVS.
Yeah. I notice a lot of the lighting in this. He uses a lot of dark blue, which I wonder if it's to be the Manhattan color, the Dr. Manhattan color. Yeah, because like I think of Watchmen, I think of yellow.
Yeah, very much so. The comic's definitely brighter and more yellow.
But yeah, I noticed like a lot of this movie's leaning on the dark blue, which creates like a sadness in the pall of Manhattan.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought Manhattan, but I definitely feel sorrow. Like there's a morose quality to the whole thing with the blue. I forgot how much Jackie Earle Haley gets FaceTime.
I mean,
in the comic, obviously, the end of the
this
night
is
everywhere.
way longer than the director's cut.
Yeah, so maybe they're more of him in this mode. I remember him being in a lot of scenes, but not like holding on him. And like in the comic, obviously, that's important. I love that. The music really allows the setting to thrive and the emotion with the characters.
Come on, John.
Lori?
Oh, and then her Silk Spectre outfit just plays right in the background too, which
and then cuts to her mom.
Oh, that's so good. There's fucking looming shadow of her mom.
Margarita? Mother, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And she's wearing yellow.
I'm 67 years old. Every day, the future looks a little bit darker.
The makeup definitely looks like makeup, though.
Yeah, she's perfect, though. Like, Carly, because you know the casting. I see why they aged her up and played this way.
I'll be there in 5.
Well, they're kind of doing a cool thing. We were just talking about the colors, and there's a lot more yellow now.
In the flashbacks, which feel like the comic more. And that makes sense to do the throwback stuff to be comic-y.
And the yellow was a little bit more bright and hopeful for this time period of what they aspired to.
And she was just talking about how it was more bright in the past, like, literally.
Come on, baby. I know what you need. You gotta have some kind of reason for dressing in an outfit like this.
I said no, Eddie.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan just plays this guy.
Very
and he can play
well.
a good version of this guy and a bad version, but
A
it's
likable
always
version
this
or
guy.
a version. Yeah. You got a face for this guy.
You little bastard. This is what you like. This is what makes you hot. What?
This, to me, was one of the most controversial, especially with the fact that it's revealed that she ends up meeting up back with him, sleeping with him, and that, you know, has a child.
And, like, defending it. And now she's like, yeah, that was the past.
That is one of the more, like, bold things from the comic to me. It was like, holy shit, that's a fucking choice.
Yeah, that's a thing we don't talk about in most media.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens in real life and usually, especially in a comic.
Our heroes aren't the heroes.
Government issue.
Fireworks. You gotta be kidding.
Yeah, see yellow.
Yeah, passed.
Must be fucking intentional choice.
Yeah, blue and yellow. Also, those colors go. Yeah. Blue and yellow.
I think I might have driven us crazy. You know, as a country.
I love that line. You know, if we'd lost here, I think it'd turn us crazy as a country. And now here we are. That one shift to Manhattan, like it's such an interesting what if of reality.
Fuck, the casting in this movie is just like too good to be true. It's just like insane how like too good it is.
Everyone is exactly who they need to be.
I'm gonna forget about you and your horrible, sweaty little piece of shit country. Get the fuck out of here.
No. You will remember me in my country forever.
My face!
You don't.
Oh, shouts it.
Yeah.
She was pregnant, and you gunned her down.
That's right. You could have turned the gun into steam, the bullets into mercury, the bottle into goddamn snowflakes, but you didn't, did you? You really don't give a damn about human beings.
What a scene that tells you so much about both characters. And when he wants to connect with Lori later in the story, yet you see when he has a pregnant woman around and how he'll just gun her down and doesn't give a shit about the child.
Yeah.
So it helps justify why Mommy Silk Spectre
has apologies and forgiveness.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It accelerates both characters so well anytime there's a two-person scene. I hadn't thought of that. Like, scene study-wise, both characters get movement. And to have all this framed around his funeral.
Didn't work 15 years ago. Sure as hell ain't gonna work now just because you want to keep playing cowboys and Indians.
Maybe we should agree on no drinking at meetings.
Perfect.
Get your panties all in a bunch. You think catching him matters?
Justice matters.
Justice.
And that's why people like Rorschach.
But they don't see the like bigotry and homophobia and like misogyny. And the people that identify him with him, I worry that they don't see the misogyny and bigotry.
That Ozymandias here.
I don't know.
Be the smartest man on the cinder.
That's what's so interesting about Alan Moore's writing. It's all shades of shit. Like how much you hate someone depends on how much you relate to which thing makes them awful.
He's also got an I don't think he gets enough credit for his dialogue. He's got an incredible ear. Like, it's cool to, like, read the pages and everyone has unique dialogue.
Everyone speaks in a certain way that is their character.
We are trying to retain order on the streets until the police strike is over. Crawl back in your holes before you get hurt. Got rubber bullets. You are not the law.
Man, what a brilliant story. Like, placing the heroes, I thought that was fucking, I thought that was Glenn Powell. I was like, holy shit, Glenn Powell. Yeah, I know. I love like how they place the heroes as, you know, metaphors for cops.
Police brutality and overreach.
It's so well done.
Especially in this era of cops and how it reflects today's era of cops.
Yeah.
And then the Watchmen show I can't get over the Watchmen show predicting so much of today.
I love the music choices because the music choices creating that ironic sense and showing how like we can put something uppity to gloss over the ugliness that's underneath it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It adds a little humor, but it also adds darkness. Because in media, we do that. You're right. It's a really interesting use of it and to be a commentary on it.
Son of a bitch. Get your stinking hands off me.
What the hell happened to us?
Like how we never see young Night Owl do anything cool.
He's always just, here I am, impotent. It's interesting how much Reagan affects Frank Miller's Batman, and I think of that, but how much Nixon and Watchmen and those writers, like we talked about at the top, like mirroring each other's sensibilities in some ways. But I don't know if now we can write comics that talk about the government because of the amount of government control. Like, I don't know if they could make Trump comic commentary.
I don't even think you can make this movie.
Oh, this movie wouldn't exist today, but I don't know if there'll be art that comes out of this era that is going to be as strongly on the nose about the time as this is.
I'll write it.
Do it, Greg.
Pause the movie.
Greg's got it right. But we have so much Reagan commentary, Nixon commentary. Like without Hunter S. Thompson, like I don't know how much. I just don't know if we have the boldness because of.
You need someone. You need like a true cynical artist.
Yeah, like Alan Moore and Hunter and
yeah, Miller.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
you need like a true cynical artist who weirdly cares about human connection.
That's such a fine line that doesn't exist as often. And also, I don't know if publishers will publish it. I don't know if we'll get the exposure of the. Like, there's probably people writing it right now that'll never see the light of day.
Well,
or they're killed.
Artists like Moore and Miller put the word novel in graphic novel. You know.
Yeah. Even in the 80s and like Marvel, they talked about, you know, through Daredevil, what New York was like and stuff. I just don't know if publishers, I hope we get it back.
You wait all day. All fucking day.
He's eating his beans.
Yeah.
Lie again, Moloch. I break another finger. I did my time. I'm not Moloch anymore. What do you want from me? Heard you attended Blake's funeral. Why? I just felt I should.
Sometimes it's so comic booky and then they'll go right back to politics. It's such a good balance.
It was baffling, not making any sense. I was pissing in my pants.
I love how the only time you're in the comedian's perspective is literally the beginning. Every other scene with the comedian is how someone else is viewing the comedian in that moment.
And I think that's why it's smart to start the movie with the comedian, because that's all we need.
I did bad things to women. I shot kids. But that was fucking war. I never done anything like this.
The truth is, you're the closest thing to a friend I
The
got. What
depiction
the
of
fuck
it
does
is
that
so
say?
good. It's just like the disillusionment of the perfect American hero. I remember going to this scene in the comic, and it was all just first-person point of view.
Yeah.
They're just talking to it, so they're actually breaking it.
Yeah, I don't think this would have worked POV.
Yeah.
In a movie.
And then he left.
Funny story. Sounds unbelievable. Probably true.
Fellow reject, I've been going to therapy since I believe around 2012, and admittedly in the past couple of months, I haven't been as consistent as I like to be. And with that, I tend to fall into like old patterns of having a difficult time asking for help, having a difficult time being honest with myself, having a difficult time just opening up in general. But going back recently, it's helped me reconnect with my actual values in life. And already I feel like the direction has been helping me get my mental health and personal life back on the track I want it to be at. And that's why today I'm happy to talk about RULA. It's an online platform that helps you connect with licensed therapists that will specialize in you. RULA makes it easy to find affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. You just go to RULA.com/rejects, answer a few questions, and they'll match you with a therapist who fits your needs and schedule. You can meet with them online, and RULA patients typically pay $15 per session when using insurance. They made therapy accessible in a way that alleviates a lot of the problems that I often hear from people when they're trying to get into therapy. There's no waiting list, there's no calling around, it's seamless. And of course, if you do decide to sign up, you'll more than likely be asked how you heard about them. It would mean a lot if you could also support us and let them know we sent you by choosing our name in their drop-down menu. And sincerely, you deserve mental health that works for you and not against your budget. So you can find the therapist that's right for you at RULA.com/rejects. That's RULA.com/rejects. Thank you again, RULA. Take care of yourselves, people.
Thought about Moloch's story. Could all be lies. A revenge scheme planned during his years behind bars.
And they keep having him walk past like prostitutes, and his mom was a prostitute. So they're like foreshadow. They're putting more emphasis on that to foreshadow it.
And they're also solidifying his worldview. Like you said, each scene is that person's scene. That's his world.
Buried in the rain. Murdered. Is that what happens to us? No time for friends. Only our enemies leave roses. Violent lives.
Man, the dialogue.
It's so cool to do all the like slow motion shots of Rorschach, allowing the actual dialogue from internal narration monologue to come through. This is with the Zack Snyder slow mo fucking.
It
like,
works so well. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Man goes to doctor. Says he's depressed. Life seems harsh and cruel.
It's the exact line. It's fucking wild.
It gets so much better the older you get.
But doctor, he says, I am Pagliacci.
Even the intercutting with this. Oh man, it's like right from it. That's fucking wild.
If I ever, like, this is what I'd want to talk to Zack Snyder about. Like, this is the...
Not sure if I like the animation style choice on this though.
It doesn't look like the comic enough, but it doesn't look... It's not...
It looks like those,
Straight to DVD, Walmart,
DC animated.
It looks like a $5 DVD, and it's the rest of the movie is so polished and lush, and
But like it felt like in the Watchmen comic, it's just so goddamn like gritty and oil pastel kind of like fuck,
Yeah, I wish this felt more like a painting.
Yeah, this is too clean and digital.
Yeah, that's the word. Digital is the problem.
When I awoke.
But I'm actually glad they're decided
here.
to include it though.
It feels more graphic in the comic because it's not digital.
Feels more
like
graphic just on like a person's face,
Yeah.
of like just a main guy's face.
What time do you have to be at your interview?
Breath cut
Transition,
matching.
Yeah. The blue scene is insane work. It looks so perfect.
I don't know what stimulates you anymore.
Look, I know.
There's a slight difference in the comic.
You were just trying-
That's the first time he's doing that, I believe. And she's like fucking flips out.
Yeah. And this is the moment she freaks out.
Yeah.
To what? To tell me which one of you was giving me a pity?
Just can't be fully present because there is no present for him.
Oh, it's so cool.
There's just like no soul to the guy. I don't know how you could possibly date him other than the physical stuff.
I mean, that'd be pretty exciting.
Like literally the only time you see her really into him is during this sexual moment.
Because that'd be so overwhelming. That'd be so much. But the man that she knew, like, there'd be just enough left, and that memory'd be hard to delete like that. But that's why, obviously, this works. Shitty Chinese sounds good.
He's just always being the most human aged man.
Who is it?
Yeah, right? Cardigan. Just doing his best.
Fucking eating leftovers.
Yep, watching a little TV in the kitchen. He's so the opposite of Dr. Manhattan at every turn. It's so great.
Come in.
Oh, the blue lighting in her with his yellow is kind of cool for what we've been talking about. And that leaving the Dr. Manhattan coming into the past.
I left John.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know why I'm here.
I've seen this actress in other things before.
Malin Ackerman?
Yeah.
She's in lots of stuff.
I don't think she's particularly great in this movie.
She's very pretty, which is important to the character.
She must be the weakest actor in SAG.
Limp Malin Ackerman. I don't know if that'll be topical by the time this airs, but it's funny now.
I've really liked her in a lot of other stuff, so she just might be miscast.
Just noticing it for, yeah. I love her in Rock of Ages, a movie only I like. Like it so much I had it for my birthday one year and had 20 people watch it with me, disgruntled. I feel like everyone in this movie doesn't get enough credit for their careers. Like, the more I think about who's in it, like, Patrick Wilson is so much more than The Conjuring and so much more than, like, he's so many things that are great.
Yeah.
Billy Crudup so slept on. I think Carla Gugino is such an actor's actor.
This is better.
Cool.
The weight of the world's on you.
It is
But does he quit?
remarkable how flawless that looks.
And it's, when was this, 20 years ago?
2009 this came out.
16 years ago? It's incredible.
It's flawless. The paths crossing. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on him.
I don't think that was in the regular cut.
I feel like there's more emphasis on him here than in the comic.
Because he's small and just passing.
Yeah.
It's more cumulative, but here they're cutting to him and holding on him.
Especially if you've learned beforehand that Jackie Earle Haley was cast as Rorschach. It would be like the biggest giveaway, you know?
Right,
They
yeah,
must
I
have
can't
been from the
unthink that.
theatrical. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's so weird, like, not remembering any of this. And, like, even reading the comic and being like, wow, I don't remember any of this in the movie. And I'm watching the movie like, I don't remember seeing any of this in the movie.
Yeah, and not seeing it in so long, I don't remember. And the comic is so dense that there's pieces. I'm like, oh, right.
Yeah. Whoa!
Oh, what a different side of Patrick Wilson.
This is so much more intense. And the violence is so much more like action movie.
I think that's so smart of Snyder to really up the action between all the dialogue. Like, this is so intense.
Conflicts. Did you know that he has cancer as well?
Oh, shit.
Damn.
What the fuck? This is so different. So fucking extreme.
I think that emphasizes the nature of the kind of hero violence it is, too. I think it works narratively.
I'm of two minds about the choice of action, and I'll go into it a little bit more time to say it, but I'm of two minds about it. Because there's a big part of me that really agrees with what you're saying, and I'm
curious with the other side, because it feels so intentional.
It is intentional, but I feel like in the comic, the big emphasis was like, they're not really superheroes, but they move like superheroes here.
I think you need to keep them because of how big Dr. Manhattan is, how powerful. Like, I think that's necessary, cinematically.
Fair enough.
I gave you everything. This is how you repay me?
Ginny, I wasn't told. I didn't know.
Damn you, John.
I think the makeup on her is better than on...
Yeah. He causes cancer. Surround him.
Yeah.
Some of the most iconic shots. Man, he's good.
The comic has a moment where that Janie is beforehand. She's an old lady talking to like a reporter, I believe, and divulging about how like Manhattan dicked her over and all these things, left her for. So they establish more of that relationship. Whereas here you only get that one little moment
Reveal.
with the Minutemen.
Earlier when she,
it's just there for like a second.
I'm shaking.
I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying about the violence, though? Like they're
just because they are more human in the comic, like they're more everyman, like they're just suited up.
The idea was like Dr. Manhattan's super
so far above,
and then they're just like humans playing dress up, you know.
Which I think is a different commentary.
Yeah.
Whereas I think cinematically, it needs to be more of a hero movie because it's more of a commentary on how they're willing to accept violence. And I think you need to show ultraviolence in order to have that through line.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the medium allows for this to need that more.
I suppose I wish there was a little bit more of like, let it be really violent, but maybe not have them move
as powerful
like martial arts action heroes.
Because I think the violence is what you need, not the superhero element. I agree with that. Yeah.
But I'll be lying if I said
it's cool.
It's not fucking awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really
cool. That's also a thing. It's like we need moments of looking cool.
It is really cool to look at. Like I don't mind it with the beginning with Vite beating up the comedian because that's his character. Yeah.
But yeah, the two of them would not be able to move like that in the comic. That's not the same character. I get that.
Ridley had brought me a sail. Perhaps this could be my route back to Davidstown.
Ooh, the old Rorschach. I don't know if the freighter, and this is a tease for what you don't remember. I don't know if the freighter stuff works for me as well without the original comic ending. I'm curious what you think.
But it's violence.
So gross.
Making a ship out of the dead bodies. It's pretty cool. Glad they did that.
We'll get home together, my friend.
They definitely changed the dialogue of
in this.
Yeah, it's much easier to keep up with.
Oh yeah, the dialogue in the comic of this scene is like old timey pirate jargon.
Reading the Frankenstein book again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a separate tone.
This is a lot more modernized and easy to.
It's just Gerard Butler talking.
Yeah.
It's a lot more monosyllabic. It's very like this is what's happening.
Yeah. Where there was a kind of a poetry to it before. That is a disturbing visual, though.
I love Vite in that shot as we get the he's gone. I love that the machinations are starting, the seeds are visual.
Leave me alone!
I love all this stuff. Man, these visuals are so perfect.
It's funny. I was literally reading this comic, listening to Interstellar music, and this music kind of
So
sounds
were
like
they?
it. Yeah.
Good tone. That's really funny. The top you're talking about. Here we are.
Yeah.
Sean, I wish you gave us a little notice. I'm sure he made a face.
Oh, I forgot how much more we get over here.
Her name is Janie Slater.
Damn, Billy Crudup got
She's
like
a
fucking
physicist,
thicker,
like me.
even in the face, like in real life.
Yeah.
It's like I just imagine like a big thick head.
Training his neck.
It's like a thick dude.
Getting that.
Yeah. It's like lean, but you know.
I don't know how they did his face. It's so perfect as Manhattan. This is my favorite comic in the series.
That night,
yeah, it's
Janie
brilliant.
and I make
It's
love
beautiful.
for the first time.
It's like the one I go back to every so often.
I'm sorry, John. But I can't.
Those heartbreaking parts. That. I don't recall him doing that in the comic, like begging, "Don't leave me."
I don't recall it either, but it makes sense for the Billy Crudup, like humanizing him some before we lose the humanity. Oh, the Watchmen, the Watch, the Doomsday Clock, all the imagery coming to head in the Manhattan story with time.
Oh, yes, John.
This is the stuff, yeah.
Okay. Oh, this might be actually when it does come up.
I thought so. It's in this issue.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because it's all time.
I'm remembering it all out of order, all in different time.
Like Dr. Manhattan.
It's December 6th, 2025.
The last Star Wars movie is in theaters. Man.
A circulatory system is seen.
Oh, gross. Damn, it did it.
Looks so good.
Oh, God, John.
Yeah, I know, right?
They call me Dr. Manhattan.
That's one element I wish they had included a little bit more of is the inspiration of actual comic books of how that influenced the start of all this. Because there's Hollis has like a reverence for like, I wanted to be Superman and all these things.
Might have been too meta for the opening because of how many layers they're already thrown in.
They are shaping me into something gaudy.
It's strange that like I know in the Watchmen show I remember them doing actual makeup for him.
Oh yeah, for Yaya.
I prefer it.
I prefer it too overall. Especially because they didn't do his eyebrows. And his eyebrows looked odd.
I of course like 99% of the time prefer like makeup and practical effects. I'm like, actually the CGI version looks
when it's a
like,
glowing entity, it's also like otherworldly. That's
Yeah.
when to do it. I think the Uncanny Valley helps. The cut to that, man.
After each long kiss.
You're a pig, Dr. Manhattan.
Cruel.
Yet it is like God not willing to deal with the human beings.
And the human condition being beneath him. It's interesting when we covered this for DC Studios, when we did the Watchmen animated, like it's like frame for frame an adaptation. I've always identified with Dr. Manhattan more than anyone else. And that's always made me feel insecure about like, that's the character I get. Like that's my eyeline. That tangle idea.
Did you and Dr. Manhattan have a fight today? It is when you're on government payroll and you're not
What a
doing
way to
your job.
immediately blame.
The woman in the room, yeah.
They definitely badassed her up more in this movie.
And I think that element of Malin Ackerman works, but some don't.
There are no depths you won't sink to.
Jesus Christ, Sally. That guy I talked to was...
They made it a lot more clear in the movie than the comic until later.
Yeah. they allude to early on in this that like he's her father.
Yeah. In the comic, it was like a moment.
Yeah, I remember reading it. These are like, whoa.
Yeah, this is like we're gonna tell you a while in.
Because that scene's in the comic, but it's still, but that's a much later thing to allude to. It still could just be that she was assaulted.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's still more subtle in the comic.
If they realize it's not a hoax, they'll
Oh, they
probably
definitely
start
have a
airstrikes.
lot more of this, and this not as much in the comic.
The foreign intrigue, clock,
Yeah,
all those things.
they amp it up here.
How soon can we be
Richard
ready for a
Nixon
preemptive strike?
capturing is pretty cool how they're doing it, because it could have been run the risk of feeling like a weird caricature thing.
Sure.
Yeah, but they actually, like, even though it's like clearly makeup, it somehow feels fitting to this movie.
I think the other characters having makeup really allows the makeup to feel normalized.
Yeah.
With anticipated
I love how
patterns,
anti-intellectual they make
Fallout
Nixon as he was, but how that ties into Dr. Manhattan and the whole intellectual movement versus just power.
Sometimes the comic's so thick that I'm wondering if I'm right when I'm like, oh, this isn't really in the comic as much. I'm like, maybe it is. And I just
You're
don't
like,
remember.
I was doing exercise.
Humanity is
Because I know they have this in the
There
comic.
is
but
this
yeah,
scene.
but
I don't remember how much
I feel
of it.
like there's more. Yeah.
There must be some way to reach him.
Because that line's in the comic, but I don't remember how much Nixon is even in the comic.
I remember Nixon coming in way late.
I love that there's a room that is like an outdoors forest in this.
Oh, yeah, she's like way more amped up.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like I'm a badass woman.
I mean, her outfit's badass in the comic, but she's definitely like a Catwoman in this.
I actually think I just didn't really care for the way she had her scenes with Dr. Manhattan. I feel like every other scene she's had outside of Dr. Manhattan, she's believable in.
Doesn't mean the badass stuff really works. She's not a badass with Dr. Manhattan.
But even with Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Iacocca, gentlemen.
Oh,
respect your
that's
position.
Lee Iacocca. That's amazing. The guy that invented the Mustang. The guy like a Ford, like he's a tycoon, like one of the great American tycoons. That's really clever with this commerce conversation. Ford Ferrari is about Lee Iacocca, that whole era.
Got it.
Bernthal played him.
His suit color more accurate.
Yeah, that's almost his suit more than the comic suit earlier.
Alexander the Great, as you know him. His vision.
I just love how he just talks that so much.
Everybody's like, you know what, Alexander the Great?
Maybe you know him as.
Not, Al, as
You
I
don't
know
know his
him.
real last name.
Yeah.
I really like the pompous attitude that this guy. I love what he's doing. It feels like fitting but different at the same time.
I think Matthew Good is up there with Jeffrey Dean Morgan as perfect.
Yeah.
Disagreement? Public. I think
Interesting. They're providing more of an intensity with him much earlier on, whereas I feel like they were portraying him a little bit more as like benevolent.
He was more
perhaps.
altruistic in the comic.
Altruistic is the word. Yes,
and then
yeah.
he flips.
Yeah.
And this is more like, oh, wait.
Yeah, there's something up.
Distrust. Yeah. Which is better suited for cinema, I think.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
That was
added.
so graphic.
Oh, that's
Oh.
added. Oh, there's so much more violence in this. Oh my God!
What a shot!
Oh my God!
Wow. That was like the darkest Flash scene I've ever seen. That was incredible. That was, I mean, having read the comic, I love that killing of him. That was so well done.
But who would want to kill us now?
I don't know, but it's not safe out here.
Yeah, no. In that scene when they try to kill him, no one dies. that
was insane.
That was so much more brutal.
5 people get brutally murdered.
Rorschach's Journal, October 21st.
I do like how they did actually kind of tone down some of her, like, I'm a girl. That's how she got to read to me in the comic.
Yeah. I'm just a girl. I do girly things all the time. Yeah, she's like Barbie in the comics.
Yeah. When she's around with him, like, he just like keeps fucking talking. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the blondest character and all the negative.
First bubbling note of city's evening chorus.
Surprised they don't really drive home how he's potentially religious. Probably a religious guy.
Yeah.
Like as a guide in his life.
Vight's assassin was a local lowlife named Roy.
What a transition.
Do you like the extended media that after DC got them? Or are you not a big fan?
Can you rephrase? What do you mean?
Of Watchmen.
Oh, I like the show, but I don't like Batman teaming up with Rorschach and stuff.
You don't like the extended comics and stuff?
Yeah, I think they kind of undermine the fact that it's a commentary and like it's such a succinct adult story. They kind of
becomes the thing that it was
that it's
going
parodying
yeah,
itself. Like
yeah.
I don't think they should ever meet.
Yeah.
It's also more sophomoric. It doesn't feel as like intellectually stimulating. It feels like a comic, not a graphic novel.
Yeah.
That's why I like Lindelof's show so much because it felt like this.
Run pyramid.
No more lies.
If there's anybody in there with you, send them out unharmed.
never surrender.
I never surrender. I love how emotional he got there.
Yeah, we feel the panic through the mask.
You never hear that with the gruff guys.
Yeah. I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Cool guy.
Because Earle Haley understood that it wasn't just some voice he's doing. Like, this is his voice.
Yeah, it's who he is.
It's not the Batman thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Amp up the violence. Do your thing, Snyder.
Slow-mo Snyder.
Do your thing, Snyder. Get more graphic.
Cool. So cool. The most badass anyone's lit a match.
That can really did wonders. Woo! He's straight up just trying to kill a cop right there.
Man, the slow-mo is so used. Yeah, perfectly used this sequence.
See, like, he actually moves like a real life fighter.
Yeah, more so than the two of them, for sure.
Tonight, the mass vigilante Rorschach was apprehended and he...
Yeah, that was such a great reveal if you don't know the comic, even though they showed him a ton.
Little's yet known about Kovacs, but he was charged with the murder of one Edgar Jacoby.
He's 35.
It's a rough 35. got some city miles on him. Don't eat just beans, kids.
We're the same age.
That's what happens when you eat only beans and hate.
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't realize I was older than Rorschach.
No, he definitely looks older than 35.
Got some city miles, man. He's got a lot of hate in him.
But Rorschach usually got an intuition about these kind of things.
Thought the deal will be bigger.
It goes to show you, kid, you never know.
I love their relationship.
They should have done it where, like, how it is in the comic, where he's trying to, they keep coming through the dialogue of them, and they keep coming back to the comic, and it makes it really hard to keep up with the
different
with
colors,
the
but it's all the same frame. You're like, what's happening? Is that a pirate talking or a shop owner? What's happening?
They do make it easier to pay attention to Black Freighter.
Yeah, Black Freighter just comes at you in the comic.
They'll just have like lines from Black Freighter overlapping in the middle of another dialogue.
And you'll be 3 lines in, so you're like, what is happening? When am I?
Fortune has smiled upon you, and you spit in its face. Turn your wretched craft around and go far away.
You know, I think I'd enjoy this animated movie more on its own.
It's so important to the like Vite stuff, though. The very end. Do you mean like in the middle, like as an intermission or something?
Or like, yeah, I don't know, just buy it.
Oh, you mean like not in the movie?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm liking how they're. It's weird. I think it's fucking amazing in the comic. But, yeah. But in the.
I definitely find myself zoning out a little. Like, I'm not as invested in this story. I'm invested because I know where it goes and how it ties in, but I'm not like invested in it.
Even if I fail in my attempt, I take solace in the fact that I will see my family again in heaven.
Oh, there is no heaven, Captain. I would know by now.
2 stories telling us there is no God. It is pretty impressive that Alan Moore managed to craft a much simpler tale that manages to be representative of so many different characters in this world. It's like Rorschach, Manhattan, Adrian.
Yeah.
All in one.
Yeah, like all the men are in that one.
Mom, is he hurting you?
I'm kidding you. I should have had
that. The way that played is kind of funny. It's just like so extreme.
Yeah, real on the nose there, kid.
So like,
because it's his POV. He's not a well man.
It's like extreme in a way that like this shouldn't read cheesy, but it kind of does.
I think the animation interstitials cause that too, because it's a little more disjointing.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember this feeling as off in the theatrical, but that was also 16 years ago.
Born in an alleyway. Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
I'll tell you about Rorschach. Once a man has seen society's black underbelly, he can never turn his back on it.
It's really fascinating what I'm looking at right now because this is almost like word for word, but I remember this feeling more from the psychologist perspective.
Oh, interesting.
Yet it's like almost the exact same scene, but the way they're framing the psychologist feels
smaller, and he feels
kind of feels like an asshole, like jail psychologist.
Yeah. He's dismissive in a different way.
Yeah.
I think this film does go out of its way to kind of embolden Rorschach, like to make him the cool.
Well, I don't think this movie has time to go into the psychologist POV and
Yeah.
give us a whole storyline, so it's kind of smart to do this.
But it also frames his lack of compassion for people as like a positive. Like his almost fascism is seen as like the solution. And I think that's dangerous.
But I think when you're in his POV, you kind of have to.
Well, and like
yeah.
this is like the horrors of the world. Like I get
Yeah.
that. I just don't think there's as much nuance in the movie as the comic.
Well, that nuance comes in when you're. It's like with the comedian. You know, when you understand, you don't side with the comedian because you see him often from other people's POV, and you often don't see Rorschach from other people's POV.
That's true. You're in his
you're usually
story.
in his head.
And I think it's important to show the darkness that he's dealing with, like in this.
I mean, like I fucking hate this. I don't know how much they'll show here. But like
Yeah,
this
this
to me
scene
does
was
not make
so-
fucking Rorschach a good guy.
No,
like,
no.
Like this is horrible what he does.
It was dark when the murderer got back. As dark as it gets.
This is horrifying.
Yeah. I think these scenes showing of lack of compassion works for the character in the right way. Like to show the pure evil, I think really does sell Rorschach well.
But what Rorschach does is pretty fucked up here.
But the dude deserves it here.
But he murders a dog though.
No, I don't think they show that in the movie, or maybe I don't remember.
I think it's right here.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I don't.
That's why they cut to the dog with his sliced in head earlier.
That's right. I'd forgotten that.
It's right here. I forgot he murdered both dogs.
Yeah.
You killed my dogs, man. You think I had something to do with that girl? What evidence have you got? That's nothing.
Yeah.
I confess. I kidnapped her. I killed her. Arrest. What? Arrest me!
I do like the laughing at the system and just.
Oh, you're gonna go more personal here.
No, don't do that! Take me in! No!
Man, the voice, the vocalization.
Whoa. Okay.
See, Dr. God didn't kill that little girl. God doesn't make the world this way. We do.
Yeah, he just burns down the house with him inside.
A little more intense in this one.
Yeah, there's a lot. I actually like that change.
I do too, because I really think you need to feel sometimes his righteous rage, and there's nothing more despicable. So that works.
Yeah.
And that sets up this sequence greatly because you know these people, you assume these people are just equally as pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So you like this righteous vengeance.
What you say, big boy?
Nice.
Woo! Oh.
I'm not locked in here with
This
you.
live.
Oh, yeah.
You're locked in here with me.
Oh, it's so good. So I think you need the butcher scene first because then that really works. Man, what a scene. I had chills.
And Jackie Earle Haley sells even without the mask.
Yeah.
Like he manages to like slip into that voice and
You
be
believe
believable.
that the mask is his face. Like the
Yeah.
Batman trope of Bruce Wayne being his face works for Jackie Earle Haley.
And I remember in the comic that line is there, you're locked in your me, but it's not on him when it says that. It's like a recount, someone's recounting. What
Yeah,
he
it works
said.
so good like that.
To actually show it like that was really cool.
And to hear that guttural rage, man.
Crazy they built this.
Yeah. There's not a lot of movies after this. Like, this is the last era. I wonder where this is now. This set.
Yeah.
Sitting in Warner Brothers, like, so cool.
So it's like Rorschach and Night Owl a split commentary on Batman in a way?
Well, Night Owl's Blue Beetle directly.
Oh, is he?
But that archetype, it's a kind of an umbrella.
Okay.
I mean, the tech is very Blue Beetle. It's very like, you know, he's got a kind of a sentient robot sidekick, kind of like Booster Gold. Like that Blue Beetle energy from the Silver Age is very much this character.
Yeah, not.
But there is Batman elements to him, and like Night Owl even kind of looks like Batman, and like there's, you know, certain pieces that tie in. Like that's very Batman, especially Snyder's Batman.
You work even better in the dark. You can see me, right?
I can see everything. This must be the way John sees
He
the
has
world.
not talked about enough how good he is in this movie.
He's so good.
He's great.
Patrick Wilson in general.
I like how he leans into the dweeby side of him too.
It is making the coolest nerd ever. Like Night Owl, Patrick Wilson makes a character that doesn't work.
John sees a lot of things, but he doesn't see me.
Oh, she's just gonna go for it.
I respect the forwardness because he won't.
Yeah, there's way more like back and forth between them and the actual graphic novel. A lot more bantering and stuff, like playful banter. And even when it leads to this, she's not this aggressive or forward, I would say.
I feel like they needed to enhance her character, and forwardness works. And like it also ties into her character. Like it makes sense for Silk Spectre too.
They definitely give her more agency. If there's anyone who feels more rewritten, it's her. I don't know, man. I just would not want to sleep with the girl who's been banging Dr. Manhattan.
We found out about all the cancer.
That's why I don't want cancer.
Oh, you mean like, he'll come kill you. That makes sense too.
Or like, how could you ever live up to the pleasures that
of
Dr.
five-man man?
Yeah.
That's true. You're just a man. But emotional connection.
If you could just move a little. Okay. Yeah. There you
go. Oh my God, they kept it like this. That's fun.
Yeah, it's not smooth and efficient and effortless.
Yeah, I just need a couple minutes. Oh, hell.
It's okay.
Oh, hell.
So funny.
Take it slow.
Cute. She was ready.
Oh, hell.
He was too ready.
So funny. Oh, hell.
What a great delivery for that
Just
moment,
to
man.
let you know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny.
To really make sure.
How long now, Lloyd?
Almost 15 years, Mr. Figure.
15 years since you and that owl fella put me away.
Impressive.
So you would have been 20?
How to do that with the bars? That was crazy.
Oh, that pull in? Yeah.
You die by inches. Tall order.
I'm gonna tear this guy a new hole.
It's funny how, having just watched the Snyder Cut, how much this feels like a series.
I don't know how you could do a theatrical cut of this.
Cool.
I mean, you can get away with a 3.5 hour runtime now, but like, I don't know what you would cut.
Right. I mean, they did it. It came out.
Yeah. Atomic Love.
Doomsday Clock.
Wonder if James Cameron got that visual idea from Watchmen with Sarah Connor's nightmare and the nuclear war and her blasting in a skeleton.
James Cameron did it 20 years earlier.
In
Oh,
Terminator
from
2.
the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I don't know what. This is feeling like tonally out of place to me.
There's definitely a reason they cut this, because the only line I remember distinctly from this so far is, and then we knew each other, but everything before it, they changed.
The bob and weave in and out of the story in the comic is like really hard to get down, and it's already a challenge to do that.
Yeah.
And
I think that medium you can almost do it. This you can't.
You can't just like cut to a storyline that is so disconnected.
That's only thematically and metaphorically tied in. You can't do that with. I mean, the closest I've seen is that Wachowski movie.
Cloud Atlas.
Yeah, that movie does theme transitions insanely well.
Spilling from brain to heart like black ink. I pictured quiet streets overrun by the fiends from the Black Freight.
I don't think he directed this.
Doesn't feel like him nearly as much.
Yeah.
And again, Guardians of Ga'Hoole is a, like masterfully directed animation from what I've seen. I haven't seen the whole thing, but this doesn't feel like Snyder.
Father, help us.
Wait! Anyone but them!
God has damned us all. Life is hell.
I feel like I've heard the word God in this movie way more than I read it in the. Yeah.
The themes are definitely there in the comic, but yeah, there's a lot more of it, especially with this story. Oh, he tried. The Vite method, the Atlas method in old comics, that's great.
Huh.
So I get dressed in the morning.
He was comfortable getting naked, though.
He was, twice. Multiple scenes, good for him. And he kept his comic book belly, like they didn't superhero him up. They just let him be a man.
Let's take Archie out.
You're serious.
I used to be a masked Avenger too, remember?
I do feel like there should have been more emphasis on him being aware about Rorschach in jail. And
Yeah, that's fair. That is lacking.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot, though.
yeah, there's a lot of movie, and yeah, you can't do everything.
Yeah, that's
But
my one little asterisk. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot going on. I love the jaw drop.
It is funny how the Night Owl outfit does look a lot like the Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman outfit.
right?
Yeah,
A lot. The
finale
goggles,
outfit, yeah.
everything.
They do look remarkably similar.
Dan, there are kids in there.
Everyone, please stay where you are. Try to remain calm. We're gonna get you out of there.
It's interesting, the last superhero scene we saw was the atrocities towards kids, and Rorschach like us being vindicated in Rorschach's rage because of the horrors, and then like their big superhero moment is saving kids of the horror of the world.
Yeah.
Like those two superhero scenes back to back, like it's a really good use of like altruism.
Same time, the last time we saw him and in this ship, his ship, they were being condemned by the public, and it was used to attack the public.
It's a really good point.
Now they're saving.
Yeah, this is one of the only superhero-y scenes where they're doing like altruistic heroism.
Actually saving people.
That was a trailer shot too, if I remember correctly. Still one of my favorite trailers of all time.
Is that Jesus? No, baby.
Snyder really wants to make sure we get all the superhero god stuff.
Wowza. What a rush.
Pantene Pro V hair ad all over this Silk Spectre. So many hair flips.
Probably lock us up with Rorschach.
Who cares? World War III could start tomorrow.
He really loves this song.
How many movies is this of his?
Well, this was the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Right?
Song. Yeah.
But it's not in the movie. It's just in them. But yeah, man loves it.
I don't know if it's in them. I can't remember now.
It's a full moon, that is.
A lot more here than in the comic.
Yeah. They really wanted to make sure we knew it's an adult film. Sex in comic movies isn't dead to Zack Snyder. Little Lois Lane, Bruce Wayne for some reason. See, they're both heroes because they're finishing at the same time. He cares. That's a man that cares about his woman, and he jets off with her.
The bat signal.
It's important to have your ships come.
That was in the comic when she hits it too. That was fun. Oh my!
That is a crazy stunt. Wow.
He's dead, Rorschach. While everyone's distracted, we thought we'd bring you a little housewarming gift.
Okay, so they like completely eliminated all the psychologist stuff. There's a whole thing with the psychologist obsessing over.
I thought there was like a back and forth again with the psychologist and other people about him.
Guess not. Like you see his like home life with his wife and how his obsession with Rorschach is ruining him.
Your hands, my pleasure.
What have you got?
Nothing personal.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Oh my God. Whoa.
Come and get me.
This whole cancer thing with John, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but breaking into a maximum security prison is a little different.
I do feel like the dramatic beat, though, because, well, at least when I was reading it, it was very clear that, like, yes, he's embarrassed by the way he, the sex with her went down the first time, and then they do the heroic thing, and that fucking, like,
brings
ignites
him back.
it. Yeah, and then they go, and I don't feel like that's as...
That's as clear.
Yeah, as strong.
That's like the rush that he needed to get back to being the man he is.
Feels like they just kind of had sex then. Yeah.
It was more of a celebration as opposed to the impetus.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And like, oh, now that we've done this, now that's bringing out the
Well, because
thing
that
makes...
plus the shedding of the skin to who they really are, I think does that.
Yeah.
Like the pulling of the naked skin to themselves, that helps.
Your turn, Doctor. Tell me, what do you see?
Oh, so they're gonna give him like they're gonna make it a full-on action scene.
They're gonna third act fight set up, yeah.
Nice. He never needs to stretch, Dan. All these years, he's still got the kicks and the flips.
Wish I was as limber as this middle-aged man who doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
See, I've always thought of him as Blue Beetle, but this suit definitely looks like classic Golden Age Batman, especially from the back.
Really making their way through a crowd quite efficiently. Okay, yeah, for a movie that's like all about like being accurate to the comic, that's why I keep comparing it, is I do think the action sometimes like that. I remember reading it being like, oh, I'm kind of nervous for them because they're like fucking human
Because they're regular
beings.
people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
but there's no point are you concerned for them at any point.
It seems like there's like no stakes when they're fighting.
Excuse me. Have to visit men's room.
I love that he doesn't use articles. Like, it's so fun, the writing.
Oh, yeah, you actually don't see this. He's using the actual bathroom. Is it going to be a puddle of blood? Yes, let's go. case you didn't catch the memo.
Yep, in case it was settled that he's not no longer with us.
You two stop. You can argue later. I had to turn the screechers off, so we'll be drawing fire soon.
Slight changes are Rorschach was actually not in costume for this.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Like when he went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
He wasn't in costume. Yeah. Nice attention to detail. Papers flying. Didn't need to do it, but it adds to it.
You and I are about to have a conversation there.
What are you talking about?
You're going to try to convince me to save the world.
It would be so annoying to date this guy.
I have to go.
They made her choose here. Before he
Yeah,
just
again,
takes
giving her more forward,
Yeah.
like she gets to be a person.
Oh my God, I'm on Mars.
Some super owl dude just busted Rorschach out of prison. Didn't he write a book or something?
Oh, damn. I kind of thought they would have removed this. Well, this all has to be extended because
I don't remember any of that.
Because it's the comic book guy here. It
Yeah.
was reading Black Freighter. So that's all. I imagine they probably removed all that in the theatrical.
I forgot the gang being present in the movie at all, like to scale.
All this time you've had my number and you wait until our sunset years to use
Oh,
it?
and he's calling her.
Well, it seemed like a special occasion, Sal.
Oh, they're going to make this way sadder.
Maybe she'll finally thank me for getting her started in the first place.
You know, Sal, from the sound of your voice, you're sounding younger than
I'm
ever.
going to make this always sadder. That's so fucking,
The music, man.
It fucking sucks, man. This is going to be fun. I don't know if I want to watch this. This is mean. It was already mean in the comic. Damn.
Yeah, it's.
But I'm like, is it going to be more violent?
Probably.
Oh, God. I don't know about this. What the fuck? All right,
You gotta get shot in, though.
Let him get some licks in. At least.
I love it. I mean, poor old guy. Oh, the flashback cut tos. Beaten up by your own past. I like that they gave him a last moment of beauty. Like that, his last thought was positive.
Yeah.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah, they definitely amped that up with. I'm glad they added more nuance to that. Gave a little bit of that action cheese as well.
Yeah,
Like,
a little heart and all that violence.
What they did remove a lot of though is a lot more of the street level reactions and a lot of the fear going on.
The people in city
that
are gone.
motivates that moment to happen even more. Outside of some like random thugs that are like fucking hate Night Owl and Rorschach. You know,
We
like,
don't have any civilians in the movie.
You really like the civilian lifestyle is the thing that you really feel the build up to a moment like that versus like this just kind of happens. And
the buildup of the Cold War, the buildup of the nuclear, like that's all civilian based.
You feel like the fear just rising amongst the people. Like without having all that, I think you should delete that.
Yeah, it makes sense it wasn't in it. But again, it's already 3.5 hours. I don't know when you can put the civilians in.
Yeah.
The media stuff's close, but it is missing the street element.
I buy everyone around and you sell me out like this. Back off. Stick this glass in your squidgy face.
I know this face. Who is this guy?
Yeah, he's definitely a that guy actor I can't place.
Who did it? I knew you were gonna victimize me, man.
What about my civil rights, huh?
A lot of people just like it. I'll break your neck.
Oh, God, what the fuck?
Wow, that's the second shot of it.
They lingered on it. Yeah, this is some gross violence in this movie.
Yeah, it really gets you.
I just wasn't like prepared for it. That thing was really swinging in that shot.
Yeah, they got to make sure the metrics are right. They got the
whole thing. Yeah.
Wonder who designed the swing of the Manhattan.
Even the balls were just like we're a little swing.
Good algorithmic work, somebody.
I'd literally kill myself if I was around him.
So exhausting.
Yeah.
Just the worst.
Like just end me, man. I can't deal with this.
I have no choice. Everything is preordained, even my responses.
Yeah, this is what I'm missing in her performance. Is like it's kind of like a little flat for me when she's with him. Like, where's the frustration? You know?
Yeah, there's no chemistry between them two, and that
like,
has to be there.
Like years of this shit, he'd be like, just fucking why are you
say what you mean?
Like it's just flat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too reserved.
This feels like the first time she's reading these lines.
Feels like they're right behind her, like him.
I don't know if she actually acted to him. Yeah, this is reading like soap opera.
Why would I save a world I no longer have and he's taken?
Do it for me if you really care.
When you left me, I left
They're
Earth.
providing more emotion for Manhattan here.
Yeah, I think the actor versus a drawing really helps no matter what, but they are also giving him a little bit more depth even in the writing.
Similar debate, but him actually feeling hurt by her sleeping with Dan.
Bombs are fueled and ready, sir. It's time, gentlemen. Take us to DEFCON 1.
Yeah, but what's going on in the Black Freighter?
Sick of this Watchmen story.
Subject continues to retreat emotionally. Ties were to be severed.
I'm in.
You don't have your password written down somewhere there?
No, I always forget it. He's going to open up the files of the Justice League.
There's this guy stealing milk or something. What's this footage?
Congratulations, Mr. White. Dr. Manhattan's energy reactor is online.
Is that real? Is that a scale?
I think it's CGI. It looks pretty good. But
I mean, it looked tiny.
I don't think they built it. I feel like it was CGI meant to look big. It looked a little.
It looked like a tiny little thing, like a toy.
What is this, a coliseum for ants?
This represents the culmination of a dream more than 2,000 years old. A dream now assured because of your unquestioning assistance.
I'm very curious how you feel.
I think I started to kind of remember some facts because of the show. I remember being confused.
Because the show
follows the comic. Yeah. And I think it's not, there's no squid, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is such a change.
Because I had to revisit like what happened at the end of the comic, because when the squid stuff started happening in the show, I was like, what?
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember that in the movie at all.
What's his endgame? I cannot imagine a more dangerous opponent. He used to joke he was fast enough to catch a bullet. He could kill us both alone in the snow.
In the comic, it's part of it is like, oh, we're making a movie, so we need all this science and shit to put it together, and then they like kills them.
Yeah. I personally prefer the squid, but I still think this is a very accurate adaptation.
That's where I'm dropping off my notebook. Daily Mail. what's the
Daily Planet, Daily Bugle, Daily Mail.
What's with the fucking Ben Shapiro's thing? Daily Wire.
Oh, Daily Wire. That's funny because I didn't know which one's the real one. Daily Wire.
I was like, what's that one?
That's who I want to have my journal.
Why don't you just keep it, okay? It's yours. Life's too short, right? Thanks, man.
Yeah, what the comic does a really good job at selling is that, like, now that Dr. Manhattan's gone, we are on the brink of World War III.
And everything is at the last, like, be kind, and, like, the society shifts.
You're watching society fall apart. And even though, like, that information is here, and we keep cutting to the Nixon boardroom, by eliminating a lot of the civilian stuff, you are losing that effect and that fear that, like, nuclear war is about to go off because Dr. Manhattan's gone.
He was the reason we won Nam, and that's so important to our reality, so yeah.
Yeah.
Davidstown. I was only miles away.
I just don't get why they didn't make a 5.5-hour movie.
I mean, come on. Include civilians. Everything else is so lean. Easy.
My heart grew cold. Was my wife comforted but not difficult?
This is way more like the language of the Black Freighter. Suddenly,
This is pretty accurate to the Black Freighter. It'd be interesting if they did like a live action, expanded 90-minute movie or something. Yeah.
Not to rouse the pirate butchers occupying it from their debauched slumber.
I mean, I think it's going to be the same reveal, but
yeah, but there's a little in the middle.
They're adding on more to dramatize it more.
I look up into faces familiar. You mouthed my name.
My love. Why?
Yeah, that is
awful.
This is playing actually kind of worse to me than the comic.
Yeah.
Give the movie credit for that. Shit.
The streets are filled with death.
John, please. You have to stop this.
The existence of life is a highly overrated phenomenon.
Is that his real body?
That's a real body, not Billy Crudup.
You don't think so?
You think he got Olympian physique shape for a movie and then got back to Billy Crudup?
He's pretty in shape.
But he's like a skinny in shape. That's like a world-class athlete. That's like Alan Richardson.
We got to look it up.
That is not Billy Crudup.
I think it could be.
I think it's a nice job putting his face in someone's body.
By a shopping mall.
He put on like 100 pounds. Billy Crudup's a smaller fella.
Maybe you were wrong about everything.
You complain that I refuse to see life.
This is such like this is what I'm really bothered because this is one of my absolute favorite scenes in the comic, and the acting is just killing me, man. It's like, oh fuck, this is like one of my favorite scenes.
It's the lack of chemistry throughout that it really does not build to this.
Later, you let him finish the job? What? Were you drunk or just lonely?
Am I ever gonna live this down?
Oh, did they remove that? This, what was called, like a snow globe that she had? This was all like representative kind of that.
Oh yeah, that hasn't been mentioned at all.
Yeah, and that has shatters, and this shatters with it. I guess the.
I'm sorry if I don't trust your sense of humor.
They definitely showed it way too early on for this to feel like a reveal, that it feels like they're playing it like it's a reveal.
Yeah.
But I also can't unknow knowing it. So I don't know, maybe it doesn't feel as obvious.
I think I would have 1,000% picked up on it right away.
They have like 3 different scenes about it.
Yeah, I would have immediately picked up on it.
Okay, because like right now I'm like, they're playing it like it's a big thing. Because in the comic, it's huge. I think in the theatrical, I felt like it was a big moment too.
It's like turning air into gold. A miracle. I was wrong. Now dry your eyes.
It's a beautiful scene. I mean, Billy Crudup's incredible.
There's a
Great song
whole
choice.
There's a whole other additional flashback moment at the. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. There's a whole additional flashback moment where the comedian's being celebrated, and then she shows up drunk at the party, throws the drink in his face, talks about how like you assaulted my mom, and for like she's embarrassing him in front of everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. I vaguely remember that.
And I think it comes in at that moment. But yeah, there's a kind of disappointed by that. A lot of that acting went up.
I think Crudup was great.
I mean, Crudup is good, but that is not a scene then to me.
Yeah.
It's really, so much of that really depended on her too.
All along the Watchtower is so perfect for this end sequence.
I don't think they laid out that Dan's the one who built that mask for Rorschach.
They haven't mentioned it, no. And that allows that buddy copness. Oh, I love this suit so much.
You need something warmer.
Fine like this.
Kal-El's over there.
This is a good location, Scout, for a movie I'm doing later.
It's kind of like how the From Dusk Till Dawn bar is.
What is it, girl?
I think I remember the fact that what they changed it to.
Yeah.
I think it just came back to me. I don't remember. I don't have like a visual association, but I think I have a text fact.
Okay.
I think it blames it on Manhattan, doesn't he, or something like that?
In a way, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I don't know the.
Which they've done a good job setting up in a way.
I don't know the visuals or the scenes or whatever what the reveal is, but I think I remember that being one of the. Is that like the biggest change?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the last issue. I don't remember exactly how either, because it's been 16 or whatever years, or 10 plus years, but.
I thought it was a smart choice in the writing part to spread out the information about Veidt throughout. And a lot of in the comic, you get like just a giant dump of info about the guy.
It's a whole issue.
Yeah,
because it's separated by like issue in a different way. Like each character gets their own.
But they spread it out throughout this movie. This fight plays it a little bit more villainous. I don't feel like I got villainous vibes before.
No, he's fully a villain in the movie.
Yeah.
Like they had to make him like a bad guy. Like he's mustache twirling. Spidey sounds so awesome.
I love how he went to grab his hat.
John wouldn't do that.
The energy breakthrough I was working on just came to fruition. All these years.
I'm trying to follow this.
Humanity's savage nature will inevitably lead to global annihilation. So in order to save this planet, I had to trick it.
It's the same operation of the squid of that.
But he makes it look like
Manhattan instead of a squid. Like he's still the same action occurs. It's just not a squid.
Do that, Rorschach? I'm not a comic book villain. Do you seriously think I'd explain my masterstroke to you?
We kind of
possibility.
playing it like you are.
I triggered it 35 minutes ago.
35 minutes ago. That was such a cool line.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what a line.
Yeah. When you turn the page, you're just like, that blows your mind. It's such a good line.
And then it cuts to all the dead.
Yeah. So instead of a squid, it's a power that he was able to replicate Dr. Manhattan power to make it look like Manhattan did it and no one would believe otherwise. So it's still the great equalizer of fear to get the planet to coexist, but it's not a squid anymore. It doesn't work as well for me. Yeah, it doesn't work as well for me as a the interplanetary fear would bring a planet together differently.
I got some things that would poke some holes in why I don't feel like that would work.
And also, like, human nature-wise, we learned with COVID that it just divides us more. But
and he's such an American figure at the end of the day.
Yeah, that it's something you'd blame America.
Yeah.
Because they've made him a patriot.
Ultimately, I think they would blame America.
And that would divide us more.
Yeah.
Whereas an an extraterrestrial, it's us versus them, but them is outside, which is the greatness of the show and the comic, obviously.
Man, this shit don't make no sense. Sorry, but you can keep this garbage.
You know, all this time you've been coming here, I never caught your name.
I don't know your name.
Bernard.
You're kidding. That's my name, too. That big a deal? That's what people call Bernard.
Oh, so we're going to see the attack happen.
Yeah. It's a different, because he was able to replicate the energy, so it's going to look like.
Okay. It's not a smash to a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, which is such a strong image in the comic. It really is. Issue 12 is bananas.
That's a psychologist.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, what? Killed them off.
Yeah. Bernards die.
Shit. That's sad. That Bernard saved someone in something.
Here, they're our civilians. Our only civilians.
Cataclysmic interference.
This wasn't caused by nuclear warheads.
He appears right at the crime of the scene.
Yeah.
The crime.
Adrian.
John.
I know. Must stop him. Kill Blake. Kill millions. Wait here.
Dude, Jackie Earle Haley just is perfectly
so good.
He does the dialogue. You just like, oh my god, I don't have to change the fucking dialogue at all. He just does it.
And speaking of that, articles is so hard. And it makes it sound great.
Kill Blake, kill millions. Just like goes right into like fragmented sentences.
Yeah, you feel the madness and the anger and oh.
So now Dr. Manhattan and him are going to have a crazy fight, hand-to-hand fight scene.
Got to end with punching, superhero movie.
I'm disappointed in you, Adrian.
I have walked across the surface of the sun, but you, Adrian, you're just a man.
So they're like something of a metaphor for Superman and Lex Luthor.
Yeah, a bit.
What's that? Another ultimate weapon?
You could say that.
Millions of lives were suddenly ended.
That's a crazy controller he has. Sits
Power
around
8 TVs.
Yeah.
Need a lot of buttons.
Putting aside our past differences, we have both pledged to unite against this common enemy. This is a day we shall never forget.
I think it needed to be an outside source.
It has to.
Not an enemy from within Earth.
It doesn't work.
Like that's the whole point of like the alien invasion, and then also like loses sight of some of the allegory too. Yeah.
Yeah. It really changes everything. The third act really falls apart in this form. Especially with how much they established he was a patriot. Like they established that he's Vietnam, and they established that he represented American winning.
And if it's a study of human nature, we all know how blame would eventually fall.
Like I said, like COVID showed that even a universal threat doesn't stop us. Like we still hate each other.
By exposing me, you would sacrifice the peace so many died for today.
He's right.
We can't do this.
On Mars, you taught me the value of life.
I don't think she tell you anything. I think you jumped to a lot of conclusions under her own man.
Don't even think about it.
Rorschach!
I do like the characterization sacrifice of Dr. Manhattan. Like there is an emotional heft to that.
Yeah.
I do like that. I do like they didn't have Dan just subscribe to, okay, we'll go along with it. Like in the comic. He's still on Rorschach's side.
Because that makes more sense, I think, for the character. They gave him more character.
Even when I was reading the comic, I was like, I'm a little surprised Dan said yes to this.
Dan's just all right?
Yeah.
Because they grew him from weak to stronger, and then he went back to weak.
Yeah.
You understand, don't you?
Without condoning or condemning.
I think the blue of the world of it being reflective of Dr. Manhattan it adds even more to this now.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
People have to be told.
You know I can't let you do that.
Suddenly you discover humanity. Convenient.
Oh, and Dan wasn't there for this in the comic.
Yeah, it's so much more painful now.
He thinks Rorschach left. He's going to witness it. Okay.
But I can't change human nature.
Of course you must protect Bite's new utopia. What's one more body amongst foundations?
Chose to take off his mask, huh?
I think it's for the movie to give the actor a chance. It doesn't necessarily work narratively.
I don't feel if it's the character.
It doesn't.
The character feels like his real face is the mask.
That's his face he took off. But this is for the actor to get to.
Yeah.
It's for the humans watching the human.
Yeah, get it for the dramatic punch. I'm not even coming from a place. That's funny. I'm not even coming from a place of that's not how the comic did it. I'm coming from a place of like that doesn't fit the character.
He was yelling for his face. He wouldn't take it off.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'll create some.
I do like that Dan was there to witness that. Though.
Yeah, that really allows the buddiness to keep throughout.
But yeah, they needed to do some serious recasting on.
Now that this has been out for 16 years, you got to recast.
I just say, man, like it would have really. It's such an important relationship.
A world united in a peace, there had to be sacrifice.
No.
Oh, interesting. I mean, by having Dan be this instead of being someone who agrees to it, you're getting like the comedian's perspective.
Right, that's the practical joke. It literally gives that line. Like one more person gets to have that.
But the story now is actually really taking a side.
Yeah.
Whereas I kind of like the idea of like, hey, you know, fucking Adrian,
How do you feel about
yeah,
right? You get to decide how you feel about the loss. This is saying he's wrong.
It's that Rorschach test you were talking about,
right?
But by making Adrian like clearly a bad guy,
then there is no nuance to the decision. It's, he did a bad thing because he says it's bad, and he is now the lead. They removed some subtlety and some nuance.
Yeah, no, I mean, Adrian in the comic is great, and he's not I don't view him like a villain at all. He's a dude just with ideas.
and the Watchmen show, I think, takes from the comic well to allow for that to be the universe we live in post-Adrian.
You are about to experience the awe and mystery.
Again, it just keeps coming back to more of like a theme and commentary, not a one-to-one of like, that's not what comic did. And I kind of feel like, did you miss the point of the comic?
Yeah, there's a lot of that being the comic's purpose that isn't there now.
Look, there's something I need to get off my chest. I know that Eddie Blake was my father.
Oh, fascinating. So they changed this too.
They give closure here in a different way.
Yeah, the closure's there, but she's like in a retirement home or some shit, and Laurie and Dan pretend to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And to get in because they're on the run.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Hello, Miss Jupiter.
Oh, Sally, please. Excuse me, gotta go freshen up. I'll be right back.
Well, the world's alive. One of my friends is dead.
Gotta get back to cooking.
They're gonna continue being here. Oh yeah, they really upped the hero thing.
Yeah.
This is not as cynical.
Alan Moore is like, make your own decisions, and this is like, good guy.
But I thought the comic ends a little bit on a nice note.
I think it depends on when you read it. Like, it's very interpretive.
You know what John would say? Nothing ever ends.
Is what he would say. Well, the comic ends with like cutting around to a bunch of people as like all this bad shit's about to go down about human connection and people saving someone. Like they have a whole thing with the psychologist. There's this kind of emphasis on we need to help each other. We need to be there for each other as humans.
But it's amongst but the cost is so high. It's
yeah. I'm talking like the last 2 pages.
Those are good. Those are kind.
I'm talking after we cut away from Adrian. I thought there was a really great exchange too in the comic with Adrian and him and Dr. Manhattan when he's like, "Did I do the right thing? I did the right thing, right, John?" Like Adrian's questioning whether or not he did the right thing. And again, they removed that nuance here.
Completely.
Well, they're holding hands now, singing songs about peace and love.
Yeah, see, like these guys are actual characters in the comic.
Run whatever you like. Leave it entirely in your hand.
I got a journal. The truth might come out there.
1985. Tonight, a comedian died in New York.
First modern song in the soundtrack.
Okay. So the theatrical is
2:45.
like 45 minutes shorter.
Yeah. So all of the Black Freight is a lot of that.
Yeah. The Black Freight is 45 minutes
It's
in this
probably
movie.
like 25.
I think it's like 15 minutes, man.
It just felt a while.
I can't imagine it's that fucking
It was
long.
quite a bit, man. I felt it.
No, it's pretty great. It's a pretty great adaptation. There are some changes that they make that I'm not a particular fan of, where I kind of like, you kind of missed the point of this. But for the most part, I think it's a pretty solid adaptation, and at the end of the day, it has to be an adaptation.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think cinematically you got to make choices, like especially Rorschach choices, like his face, the reveal, like certain things like that. It's a movie versus a comic, but overall, I think it is a very strong adaptation and one of the most comic-y movies ever made.
Let's ask Dr. Manhattan. Okay, so it was action.
Greg Plitt played him. That's right. Greg Plitt then died a few years later and got hit by a train. Greg Plitt was one of my favorite fitness models.
So Greg Plitt was the body of Manhattan.
Yeah.
I mean, but look at this shot. Oh, you're right. He's not.
That's
that
a
big.
tiny dude.
Yeah.
He's smaller than both of us.
You see how big his head got though?
Yeah. Well, no, that's Greg Plitt's head.
No.
That's his head right there. But
But you have the scenes where he's like young, Yeah,
he's a little.
young
He put on
John.
some like neck weight.
Yeah, but his face looks like bigger and thicker.
But Greg Plitt's got the neck that they put it on.
I'm not talking about him as Manhattan. I'm talking about when he's John Osterman in the flashbacks and shit.
Yeah, he's a little bigger.
He's small.
Dude, look up Greg Plitt, man. That guy was yoked.
Greg Plitt.
And I think he got hit by a train. I remember when he died. It was sad. He's one of my favorite fitness models. Look at that dude.
Oh yeah, that's Dr. Manhattan.
What a beast.
Yeah. I give that movie a solid 8 out of 10, I guess.
Yeah, it's 4 out of 5 for me. That's how I rate it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for the extended cut. I think it's still a 4 out of 5. What I like about it, I still like, and I like the more stuff. I don't love the freight stuff, but there are things that I think compensate for it.
I think this would have been a great uncut if they didn't have any of the money for it.
Yeah, I think that might be a 4.5, to be honest.
Oh, you're right. It's 26 minutes.
It felt
Shit,
like
damn,
it. It was
you're right.
so much of it. So we got 20
damn.
minutes of new footage. 20 minutes of live action new footage.
Fascinating. Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, what did you think about Watchmen? Is it one of the best comic book movies? I would say that's one of the best ones.
I would agree. Yeah, I think it's one of the, and it's certainly one of those faithful and loyal.
And for a comic that seems unadaptable, they adapted.
They certainly did. And the casting overall.
Yeah.
Insane.
Oh, the casting is phenomenal for 90%.
Yeah. And the special effects for 19 or 16 years ago.
It's definitely a main character then.
Greg's got some feelings about it.
It was really
affected your experience of a lot of
it did affect it.
Yeah.
It did for one of the most important scenes I think in the entire movie.
I can't completely disagree.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. Thanks for being here. We'll see you guys soon. Reject Nation. Leave recommendations down below on what else we should cover. Peace.